Hey everybody, Jam Creates here. I figured I am driving home from work and it is snowing, and so that means everyone is driving incredibly slow and forgetting how to drive because, I don't know, this is what happens every time it snows. So it kind of made me think of some stuff, especially hearing the news when they were talking about the Polar Vortex. It just, that made me, that word, that phrase, Polar Vortex, made me think of Cobra Commander and the Weather Dominator. And, you know, it just started making me think of, like, bad guys and their, like, incredibly insane, like, super weapons or master plans or whatever they are. You know, whatever you want to call them. And I love some of that stuff. Like, I think I watched, God, I can't even remember how many times I watched, like, the Weather Dominator G.I. Joe episodes. There's nothing, but listen, there is nothing better than Cobra Commander appearing on people's TVs, interrupting a ball game or something, and appearing on in his hood and saying, "Citizens of the world," or "Citizens." I don't think he ever said "citizens of Earth." I think he always said "citizens of the world." You know, "Behold the might of my Weather Dominator." And of course, he would threaten everyone with what he was going to do, and they would have to either cough up some crazy amount of money, or everyone would have to submit to Cobra Commander's will and declare him the ruler of the world. And remind me not to try and do a Cobra Commander impression too much, because that hurts. That like scratched up my throat trying to do that. But there was the Weather Dominator, there was the Broadcast Energy Transmitter. That was from G.I. Joe the movie, if I'm remembering correctly. From the when they're fighting in the snow and they've got the broadcast energy transmitter, and of course that leads to Cobra Commander. I guess snow makes me think of Cobra Commander, I guess, because, you know, I think of him wrapped around Roadblock, being carried along, saying, "Was a man," until he eventually slithers off and leaves blind Roadblock all to himself. That movie was incredible. That movie was all kinds of weird, dude. Like, when you watch G.I. Joe, when you watch the show, you know, he had his Pyramid of Darkness. Remember that one? Like, that was another one. He had all these, like, crazy contraptions and plans and stuff. Never once did they ever mention anything about Cobra Law, first of all. And then I liked that they were like, "Oh yeah, by the way, we gave the idea of creating Serpentor to Dr. Mindbender." Yeah, that was us. We did that. I mean, it was neat in a way that, like, they tried to sort of, like, find a way to go back and be like, "See, no, they were here all along." You know, it was interesting. It was definitely interesting. Listen, you're never gonna get never gonna get me to say that anything is more inspiring than that opening sequence to that movie. G.I. Joe the movie's opening sequence, I think I've said this before, but G.I. Joe the movie's opening sequence makes me want to run through a brick wall. Like, it is the greatest, most motivating thing ever. That song, the animation, everything that it's so freaking good. Oh my gosh, it's like the best thing ever. Like, I don't care who you are, you just want to, like, run through a wall carrying an American flag when you hear that song. I don't care if you're some weird, like, socialist nerd who, like, you know, sits in a bookstore all day, makes 3 cents an hour working on Amazon Turk, and, like, you know, has 14 cats in his apartment and has to do a GoFundMe so he can, like, buy new underwear. You hear that, you watch that opening theme song, you are going to be like, "Yes, I can do anything." It's just something about it. It's so great. It's so great. But what's funny is like though, so anyway, I'm kind of all over the place in this one. I don't know. I'm just talking while it's snowing. While I'm driving home. The interesting thing was, one of the interesting things is, they always, again, when you watch that movie, like G.I. Joe was always a little weird. I mean, let's be honest, there's like everybody, like, Cobra, everybody has some kind of a snake thing. There was, Tomax and Zaymot who would finish each other's sentences. If you punched one, the other one felt it. You had Roadblock, who always spoke in rhyme. It was a lot of, like, the show was weird. Like, let's be honest, the show was weird to begin with. But man, when they made that movie, they just went, like, I don't know where they would think, like, they just went somewhere special when they made that movie, introducing Cobra Law. And even though Nemesis Enforcer was badass, like, that dude was cool. Like, I wanted the figure of him so badly. And then when I saw the figure, I was so disappointed. Because the blades weren't, like, on his elbows were, like, tiny little nubs. And his wings were these weird, like, green thing. They didn't even look like wings. It was so weird. I don't know. I would love to see somebody make a super, like, how there's these companies who make super high quality figures, like they make like statues or really cool, like, high quality figures. I would love to see one of them take on Nemesis Enforcer. Like, what would be neat actually if they did like a line, like maybe just do Cobra Law, do Nemesis Enforcer, Globulus, and Pythona. Do all three of them. Like, that would be pretty cool, I think. The whole thing was just bizarre. I mean, if you really stop and think about it, why did they even send Cobra Commander out when they had a whole army of, like, those, like, bug people to begin with? Like, they already had an army, and they had vehicles and all this weird stuff. But what was funny was, like, Transformers the movie, obviously, like, they killed off everybody early on because they wanted to make a bunch of new toys, and they wanted to get people to buy a bunch of new toys. I get it. It's a cartoon based on a toy line. Things like that are going to happen. G.I. Joe was also a cartoon based on a toy line, but they really didn't introduce that many new toys in that movie. They made, I don't know if they ever made a Pythona figure. They probably did. I don't remember. They did make Nemesis Enforcer. They did make a Globulus figure. They made, some of the newer characters who were introduced in the movie. Obviously, they had figures of, like, Tunnel Rat and Jinx and Falcon and all those, all of them. But it still wasn't the same. Like, Transformers introduced, like, a ton of new people and wiped out a bunch of the other ones. G.I. Joe introduced, like, a handful of new people. Chuckles, like, all, like, the new recruits that Beachhead works with. Like, they were all new. Obviously the Cobra Law people. But, I don't know. I guess that was enough for a new line. It just didn't seem like as much. But, like, they just went in such a weird direction. Like, new vehicles, like, what were you gonna have? Like, those globby, weird, I don't even know, what were they? Like, slug things that, like, Cobra Law was flying through the, like, you gonna make toys of those? Like, it was really weird. Like, it was definitely, like, an odd choice. They went in a very, very strange direction with that movie. And talking about it like this is making me want to watch that again. And to think, this all started just because it was snowing, and that made me think of Cobra Commander and the broadcast energy, and not the broadcast energy transmitter, made me think of the Weather Dominator, which then made me think of the broadcast energy transmitter, which then made me think of G.I. Joe the movie, and Cobra Law, and the snow, and everything else. So anyway, I think I'm just going to wrap this up, because this is just a ramble as I drive home about G.I. Joe the movie. So there kind of was a topic, sort of, not really. Here we go, let's go. We'll make this a G.I. Joe the movie retrospective. I liked the movie. Duke didn't die, even though he was originally supposed to die. But then after they killed Optimus Prime in the Transformers movie, they decided they didn't want to do the same thing. So they had that weird line at the end where Doc just called. Duke said Duke's going to be A-okay. That whole thing. Even though he took a, like, spear of a snake right to the heart. And he was dead, let's be honest. I mean, he was dead. Clearly that was the intent of the animation and the story there. But whatever. I mean, it's cool. I can live with it. I can deal with it. I mean, you're talking about weird, like, bug civilizations living inside the Earth, like, in the Arctic, and, like, you're gonna be worried about the realism of a dude getting, you know, stabbed. Like, nobody ever dies in G.I. Joe. That's just how it is. But anyway, so I'm just going to wrap this up. That was it. This is a retrospective on G.I. Joe the movie. It was an unintended one, but I guess that's what it became. Maybe one day I'll talk more in depth about it. I'd love to get somebody else on and talk like back and forth with somebody about G.I. Joe the movie and Transformers the movie. Maybe I'll rewatch it and do a little more in-depth dive into it or something. But that's it. As you're enjoying your Polar Vortex, you can thank Cobra Commander for that. And that's it. I will talk to everybody soon. Again, I'll have more videos coming out. I've got more comic reviews coming. I've got, I got my alternate shipment, so I've got comic reviews coming. I don't know if I'll do like some sort of maybe I'll do some kind of review after a few months, like a check-in, I guess, and talk about what it's like having the Alterna Everything 2019 subscription. Like, maybe I'll do a little check-in and just talk about that at some point. I really hope, if you didn't watch it, I'm going to just plug it again here. I don't normally do this, but please go watch my video about Blaster Issue 1, the Jam Comics Classics. It's when I flip through and talk about comics that I made as a kid, ones I made when I was young. Oh my gosh, that might be my favorite video I've ever done. Or at least, I don't know, I mean, the end result, I don't know, but it was definitely the most fun I had making a video. I cracked myself up while I was looking through that comic book like you would not believe. It was so funny. Like, I just can't. And I really, like, I think you'll enjoy it. If you didn't check it out, I would definitely recommend checking it out. Go to my channel. It's, it was like, it should be still pretty near the top of my videos because it was real recent. Check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. I enjoyed making it. I think you'll enjoy watching it. And just so you know, if you ever want to read for yourself the comics that I post, my Jam Comics Classics that I post, you can read them if you're on if you use Tapas, the app, or the the website. You can read a bunch of them on there. They're on there. All the ones I've shared so far are available on my Tapas. It's just Jam Creates on Tapas. Just look me up. You'll find me. Look for Smiley Bones. You'll see them. And Jam Comics Classics. It's there. You can check that out, and you'll see. And you can read them for yourself there. You can go to my website. Maybe I'll put the link in the description so you can easily go to my website. That's how this whole thing started, really, before I had the YouTube channel. And I posted a bunch of stuff there. There's art on there too, so you can check out some art. You can check out and read some of my Jam Comics Classics on there as well. Some of them even have downloadable PDFs, so if you want to take it with you and treasure it forever, although I don't really know why you would want to, but hey, whatever. I obviously held on to them forever since I still have them. And that's it. So definitely check out that video. If you like this video, or if you like that video, if you like any videos, even if you don't like my videos, just click like. It's a nice thing to do. Consider it yourself doing a charitable act for the day. People always say spread random acts of kindness. Well, you can do that by liking this video and subscribing to this channel. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. This way you won't miss out on anything. I am still looking into streaming. I'm trying to find someone to stream with. I'd rather not just stream completely alone, because that's the same thing as recording these videos, really. Maybe I'll do a lone stream when I have a good topic to talk about, and we'll see if anyone pops in and get a conversation going. But that's it. I will talk to you guys again soon. Follow me on Twitter. You can always hit me up on Twitter. If you want to stream with me, hit me up on Twitter or here on YouTube. at GM_creates on Twitter. I am obviously here on YouTube, GM Creates. Check me out, you know, come let me know. Give me a shout. Say, hey, I'd love to come talk with you. And, you know, maybe we could figure something out. I've been talking to one guy, who you may or may not recognize the name, I don't know. He's not like a giant YouTuber or anything. But I figure, like, the little guys, if we get together, we could help each other out, build an audience, have some fun. So, you know, if you're out there and you're a little guy, and if you're like me and you're trying to get back into, like, art and drawing and that kind of stuff, let me know. I would be more than happy to talk shop, as it were, or to talk some crazy pop culture stuff with anybody. Just let me know. All right, so hit me up on Twitter. I'm at GM_creates. Here on YouTube, you can, you know, leave something in the comments or whatever. You know, hit me up. Let me know. I'd love to talk to you. All right, so that's it, and I will talk to you guys again soon with another video, and that's it. Peace out.